Casual here.
As the last
Outriders is the latest entry into the fairly packed looter-shooter gaming world, albeit it is not a live service game, and when it releases on April the 1st, all content including the endgame will be available to play. A demo of the game was released on February 25th, in which you can play all 4 classes, up to level 7 and World Tier 5 difficulty. Let's jump into the action and check out this exciting new game.
The things I've seen, even I do not believe them.
It is important to remember that what we are looking at here is a demo.
There's no coming back.
With a month until its full release, there is still plenty of time to polish the rough edges, fix bugs, and even make some changes to the game mechanics. Let's also not forget that the few hours of gameplay we can access currently are just the tip of the iceberg. By the end of the demo, you're able to access only 4 of your 7 class skills, and 2 class points for your class trees out of a total of 20. The class trees allow you to design your character's playstyle, so at this stage we can only guess at what this will play like in the full game. It would also be very dangerous to predict the full direction of this game from what is clearly a starter zone. We can note the positives and the warning signs, but we won't know the full extent of this game until its launch. Today I'm going to focus on 4 things: classes, combat, loot and story. There are 4 classes in this game: the Devastator, a close-range tank; the Trickster, a close-range DPS; Pyromancer, mid-range DPS; and Technomancer, long-range support. All of these classes feel quite unique, which is a real plus point for the game. It also means that certain classes will feel better to you. The skills of all 4 classes are interesting and fun, from the gap-closing, ground-slamming Devastator, the Trickster manipulating time and space to control the fight, the fire and brimstone-wielding Pyromancer, and the gadget-wielding Technomancer. Given we only see the merest fraction of these, I won't go into them in too much detail. They were a lot of fun and really seem to complement the playstyle of each of the classes. The class trees for each class break down into 3 specializations. With 20 class points to play with in your journey to the max level of 30, there does seem to be quite a lot of opportunity to build your character to complement how you want to play the game. Overall, I think that the classes look really interesting and are fun to play. I started with a preconceived idea about them and which one I would like, and ended up liking the one I was most skeptical about the most. And that for me shows that there's some cool class design here that you may really like. Combat is an interesting mix of the combat styles of The Division and Destiny. Cover-based mechanics similar to The Division are built into this game, albeit they're not as polished and don't always seem to work. On a few occasions I either couldn't move into cover or couldn't break from cover, and it is not possible to go around corners while staying in cover. It is clear though that a more aggressive Destiny playstyle is expected based on the healing mechanics in the game. For both the Devastator and the Trickster, you heal when you kill enemies in close proximity to you, encouraging you to be up close and personal. For the Pyromancer, enemies that die when marked by your skills, which essentially means you have hit them with a skill, will heal you. Given the range of these skills, this encourages you to pressure the enemies constantly, pushing them when they are a tower in cover. The one exception is the Technomancer, where any damage you deal heals you, and so allows for a more cover-based Division type approach. With the gadgets the Technomancer brings to bear, it is the ideal class to sit at the back of the map in cover using ranged weapons and its abilities. Personally, I think that the combat works really well. It's fun and it's quite unique for each of the classes. We will all have our favourite class because they play so differently. For me, while I enjoyed all of the classes, the Trickster stood out narrowly over the Devastator. I'm really excited about how 4-man teams will play, particularly in the endgame expeditions already announced. I can see some real synergies arising between the classes, as well as a big gap between those who play their classes well and those who don't. One negative for me so far is how the game world has been structured for combat. I think we're all used to the open worlds of live service looter shooters, which allows for incredible flexibility around progress through the game, as well as an interesting and diverse world to explore in its own right, with combat happening in a fairly organic way. In Outriders, the mission areas are walled off from each other, and the combat is clearly very scripted. While this does allow for the developers to focus on balancing combat and how they want encounters to play out, it does make for an incredibly linear game. I do hope that as we progress past this demo, we see more variety, although there is the risk of this becoming a trifle repetitive. Loot follows the tried and tested looter-shooter quality ranking from grey through to orange, which is legendary. Early on, the weapons and armour are somewhat uninspiring, probably not surprisingly, with limited stat boosts on them, things like improved critical hit, armour piercing, life leech and so on. Once you get to the blue quality gear, things get a bit more interesting. At this point, weapons and armour gains mods, which either enhance your class skills or add other generic bonuses. I think this is really good. This allows you to further customize, build playstyles and also build combos. Think about it, a mod that spreads an applied ash status on death to surrounding enemies, and that's a status which immobilizes them, combined with one that extends its duration and the weapon damage you do to enemies with status effects, and it all sounds really mouth-watering. The great news as well is that once you've learned a mod, you can apply it to weapons with empty mod slots, allowing you to keep your build as you level up your loot, at least in the full game as far as I understand it. I'm really excited about the loot and the mod system. The level of class customization is looking really strong and will be a lot of fun to play with. I haven't seen a legendary weapon or armor piece yet, which is a shame because I have been grinding for them, but these have already started to drop for other people. They look awesome, and I've already seen a clip of someone destroying a boss with one of them. And that is really important. One of the things that makes a great looter shooter is that excitement of seeing a legendary drop and then building a playstyle around it. It's one of the things that I think Anthem got wrong, but that Outriders seems to be getting right. I know that it is early days, but so far the story hasn't really gripped me as yet. In part that is due to the quality of the cutscenes and dialogue, which is average at best. Bizarrely, in some of the cutscenes, the camera seems to be shaking. The writing is mediocre, and the characters are just not that believable. And that worries me a little, as this is not a live service game, and so the story arc is a huge part of it. I don't want to completely write this off just yet, but things do need to improve. There is a lot more to cover with this game, but I'm going to leave that for future videos that I will be releasing as we run up to launch day. At this stage I would say that I am optimistic about this game, even a little excited, and the pre-order has already been made. I will be focusing on this game when it releases, so look out for plenty more content on it. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I'm early on in my journey to build a successful gaming channel, and every view helps, particularly yours. If you like this content, then please do check out my game reviews playlist for more videos just like this one, and hit the like button. Content on my channel focuses on first impressions, game reviews and game guides, so do subscribe to be notified about more content that I release on a regular basis. Until next time, Casual out.